I recently found out some truly disturbing things about my dad, and I'm still struggling to wrap my head around everything. It's one of those moments in life where you can't believe what's happening, but it's unfolding right in front of you. My younger brother caught my dad in the act with a house help, who happens to be my age. I was absolutely blindsided when I found out, and it's been an emotional roller coaster since. My mom has always been the type to forgive my dad, no matter what he does. She's been battling depression for years now, and has even attempted suicide on a few occasions. It's heartbreaking to watch. She's emotionally dependent on him, and she feels like she can't live without him. The thing is, I'm 100% sure that no matter how many times my dad betrays her, she'll never leave him. She'll cry for hours, tell him that she can't handle the pain anymore, and sometimes she'll even threaten to harm herself. But at the end of the day, she forgives him. She always does. This isn't the first time he's cheated on her. Far from it. He's had multiple affairs over the years, and every time, the cycle repeats itself. He betrays her, she cries, and then within a few days, it's like it never happened. He apologizes, she accepts it, and they move on. But here's the thing that really kills me. He never seems to truly learn his lesson. He goes back to the same old behavior, and it's like he doesn't even feel guilty for long. He does enough to placate her, but then he's right back to being the same man who broke her heart. And the worst part? She always takes him back. It's like she's trapped in this endless cycle of pain and forgiveness, and no matter how many times it happens, she can't seem to break free. But this latest incident really hit me hard. It's one thing to find out that your dad has cheated, but it's another to realize just how much he manipulates the situation. My younger brother, who's only 14, walked in on my dad and the house help, who's my age, doing it. My brother was just in shock, completely blindsided, and when my dad realized that he had been caught, he immediately begged my brother not to tell anyone. He was crying and pleading, and I can't imagine how overwhelming that must have been for my brother. He's still a kid, and he didn't know what to do. So in that moment, he agreed to keep it a secret. He didn't want to hurt our dad, and he probably didn't want to deal with the fallout either. What really gets to me is the fact that my dad thought he could get away with it once again, this time by manipulating a 14-year-old into keeping his dirty secret. It's sickening to think that my dad was so desperate to keep this hidden that he was willing to use my brother's emotions to shield himself from the consequences of his actions. My brother was put in an incredibly difficult situation, and it makes me angry to think about how my dad continues to get away with this, always finding a way to manipulate and control people to protect his own interests. The worst part of all of this is the way it affects my mom. She has been through so much already, and she keeps forgiving him. She'll cry for hours, she'll threaten to leave him, and she'll go through this emotional breakdown every single time. But no matter how much it hurts her, she always takes him back. And it's not like he's changed. He hasn't learned his lesson at all. He's still the same man who betrays her over and over again, and she continues to forgive him. It's heartbreaking to watch, and as much as I try to help her understand her worth, I don't think she truly believes she deserves better. She's been conditioned to think that his love is all she has, and I can't seem to get through to her. My dad and I have had our differences, but I never thought he would sink this low. To have been with my mom for over 22 years, to have 4 kids together, and still not be able to keep it in his pants, it's mind-boggling. How can someone who has been with the same person for so long continue to betray them in such a devastating way? What kind of man does that? It's clear that he doesn't respect her, or any of us for that matter, and it makes me question everything I've ever believed about love and loyalty. How could someone so close to me be so selfish, so willing to tear apart the one person who has stood by him through thick and thin? I've tried to understand why men like my dad do this, but I'm starting to realize that there's no real answer. It's not about love, it's not about happiness, it's about ego, control, and selfishness. He's been getting away with this for so long that he thinks he can do whatever he wants, without any real consequences. And my mom, for all her pain, continues to let him get away with it. But as much as it breaks my heart to see her go through this, I also feel a deep sense of anger and frustration. I want to scream at her to wake up, to see that she deserves more than this, but I know she's too deep in the cycle to break free. And I'm left feeling helpless, knowing that no matter what I say or do, she's going to forgive him again, and it'll be like this whole thing never happened. I can't control what my mom does, but I can control how I deal with this. I can't sit back and watch my dad destroy everything he has, including the family he's built. The time for excuses and apologies is over. He's had his chances, and I'm done watching him hurt the people I love. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I know one thing. I won't be the one to keep letting this slide. This family deserves better, and I'm done turning a blind eye to the truth. I feel utterly disgusted and trapped in a whirlwind of emotions I can't seem to escape. The worst part is that he doesn't even know that I know. He's going about his life, completely unaware that the secret has already come to light. I want to tell him, I want him to know the truth, but I also want him to feel the weight of what he's done. He needs to understand the full impact of his actions. The fact that he did this with a 20-year-old, someone my age, hits me like a ton of bricks. It's not just the betrayal of my mom, but the sheer disrespect of it all. The person who is supposed to be the foundation of our family, the one who should have been protecting her and supporting her, has instead chosen to betray her trust over and over again. I've been struggling to even put my feelings into words. I can't bring myself to call him the names that are running through my mind. I can't summon the anger, the disgust that should be there, because a part of me is still trying to process what's happened. It feels like it's too much to handle at once. It's almost like I want to pretend it's all just a bad dream, that I'll wake up and this will never have happened, but deep down, I know that's never going to happen. This isn't something that can be swept under the rug or ignored. The pain, the hurt, it's real, and it's cutting deep. But the hardest part is what this means for my mom. I'm so scared of her finding out, of her getting caught in this whirlwind of emotions again. She's been through so much already. She's been so depressed for so long, and she's attempted suicide more times than I care to count. I know that if she were to find out about this affair, it would crush her in a way that I can't even imagine. It's not just the betrayal. It's the fact that she has always put him first, always made excuses for him, and always been willing to forgive him. And now, knowing how many times he's done this, I'm terrified that she'll just fall apart all over again. She's never been the strongest, and I fear that this could be the thing that pushes her over the edge. I keep thinking about how I could lose her, how I might find her one day, alone, in so much pain that no one will be able to help. The thought of her going through that darkness again, all by herself, is unbearable. I can't even begin to imagine how I would handle it if that were to happen. How do I even protect her from this, when she's been so emotionally tied to him for all these years? How do I keep her safe from the truth without losing her in the process? I don't know what to do. I just feel stuck. I want to be strong for her, to help her, but at the same time, I need to protect myself. I need to process this, and I need to figure out how to move forward. But there's no clear path, no easy solution. The most confusing part is that the person involved in this whole mess is still working in our house. The person who was a part of my dad's betrayal is still here, acting like everything is fine. They're pretending like nothing happened. It's infuriating. How can they just carry on like nothing has changed? How can they go about their day like they didn't just cross a line that can never be uncrossed? The worst part is that my dad seems to think he can get away with it, that he can continue to keep everything hidden, and that it'll just blow over. I hate the fact that they are still here, still pretending everything is normal. They don't even seem affected by the reality of what they've done. It's like they're completely numb to the damage they've caused. But I can't just sit here and let them get away with it. The question is, how do I get the person fired without making it seem like I'm framing them for something they didn't do? I don't want to sink to that level, but at the same time, I can't allow them to keep working here like nothing happened. I don't know what the right move is, but I feel like I need to take some kind of action to make it clear that I won't stand by and let this continue. I want them gone. I don't know how to make that happen without causing more damage, but I know I can't just let them walk away from this scot-free. All of this is taking a massive toll on my mental health. I've been dealing with severe anxiety, and it's been getting worse every day. The panic attacks are becoming more frequent, and I'm finding it hard to breathe through them. I feel like I'm suffocating under the weight of everything happening, and I don't know how to make it stop. I can't seem to calm myself down no matter what I try. I try to distract myself, to focus on other things, but it's always there, lurking in the back of my mind, ready to strike when I least expect it. The panic attacks feel like they're taking over my life, and I don't know how to get control of them. I don't want to keep feeling like this, but I don't know how to make it stop. How do I even begin to deal with this situation? It feels like everything is spiraling out of control. How do I protect my mom? How do I make sure she's safe from the pain and the heartbreak? And how do I deal with this overwhelming anxiety that's threatening to take over my life? I feel like I'm drowning in a sea of emotions and fears, and I don't know where to turn. I wish I had the answers, but I'm lost in all of this. I need help, but I don't even know where to start.